So in terms of the tech that we use here in Advance, I personally, I do have probably more than is required. I do have more than that is required, Matt, but I do use all of it. But this isn't to say that you will need all of this as well. And I'll explain what I've got and why. Clearly I've got my phone because I'm talking to you on that at the moment. And I use that obviously just mainly for telephone conversations, which is not actually all that much because a lot of it's done on Zoom or through various other softwares that we use. But I obviously I get WhatsApp messages on my phone and various other things that I use the phone for in the business. Then I have, this is my text stack. So I have an Apple iPad and Apple iPad and an Apple laptop. And then I've got a Windows desktop with 2 screens. And I, at the moment, using headphones with a boom mic for my Zoom calls. And I started off with the Windows desktop with 2 screens because that was how I was used to working when I was in employed positions, and I found it so efficient to have 2 screens. You can whiz Windows from one screen to the other and have several things open, and it just makes for much more efficient working, I find, and I really enjoy working that way. And the other thing is I'm slightly odd, I suppose, but I love things symmetrical, so I couldn't have had 2 different size screens. It says a lot about me, I know, but I wanted 2 screens the same size, so that's why I started out with a Windows setup in the first place. I hadn't planned on working away from home all that much, and so my desk is, you know, where I work probably 90+% of the time. So that was a brilliant setup, and that's how it is set up currently and how I work most of my time still. But then the next purchase I bought, I replaced my old laptop that took forever to get going. You almost had to pedal it to go faster. And I replaced it for the Apple laptop. And as a family, we're Apple family, we've got everything Apple, and so it's good to have something that integrates with everything. But also sometimes it's handy to have access to both Apple and Windows for me. And I do like an Apple laptop. They are very expensive and perhaps more than is required, but I decided that's what I wanted. And what spurred me on to change my laptop was I decided to work once a month out of the office at least. So I go to a co-working hub or meet a friend at a coffee shop and we do a co-working session for half a day or a whole day once a month. And I find that such valuable time because I focus on business development during that time and look at my goals monthly and that type of thing. So obviously I need the laptop for that. But equally, you know, if we're away and I need to do some work whilst we're away, or, you know, I mean, I'm not an advocate for taking the laptop on holiday. I don't really do that. But if we're just away for a few days, then I know there's something I'm going to have to be doing whilst I'm away, then the laptop's absolutely brilliant for that. So I do use the laptop for basically anything outside the office, really. Or sometimes I might poodle at something at the weekend that's work oriented, but I don't really want to sit in the office. I want to sit, you know, in the dining room with the family or whatever, especially at the moment because all my family are doing revision and things. And then the iPad is a fairly recent purchase, and that probably seems extremely self-indulgent, which I guess it kind of is, but just let me tell you my backstory on that. Let me justify it. The reason I've got that is because actually for about probably 6 months now, I've been seriously thinking about getting a Remarkable or something similar where I can do digital note taking. Because what I found was how I started out was I have 3 A4 notepads. I have one for CPD, so any learning that I do, any webinars I attend, any free or paid, all my notes for my learning is in that one notepad. And then I have one for client action notes, I call it. And basically it's when the client, you're on a Zoom call or whatever, and they start handing out loads of actions to you. You know, can you just do this, this and this, and fire, you know, quick fire out to you. I take notes. I always take a note of like the client who I'm talking to and the date on which the call's taken place, and then there's all the actions that come from that. And if they're things that I'm not going to do immediately, I pop them into our project management tool from that call. And then I have another book that I was using for potential new clients. So anybody that was wanting a discovery call, I would have those. I'd take all my notes from those meetings into that book. And what I was finding was sometimes in times of like stress or busyness, I'd be in the wrong book, and I was finding it tricky to find notes that I knew I'd written, but I was like whizzing through backwards and forwards through pages. And I tried putting little those little sticky tabs on to make note of when I had an action to do, but I just got fed up with notes being a nightmare to find in the books, and also the amount of pads I was getting through, it didn't feel right. And then what do you do with them when you're finished, because there's, you know, what sort of information's in them. So I'd been looking for a long time, a long way around of saying I've been looking for a long time for a digital way of recording notes and then storing them into the client folder so that they're easy to find. And I'd been looking at the Remarkable and the other one I can't remember the name of right now. And cut a very long story short, it turns out the new iPad that's just been released was not much more expensive than the Remarkable, and I just thought it does so much more. It has so much other capability that it was worth spending the extra £100, and to have the note taking. So I've got a note taking app on there, and I can't remember the name of it now. If you want to know, then ask me and I can let you know. And I've just ordered the paper feel screen protector, so it feels like you're writing on paper. But that already is working really well for me, and I just save the notes according to, in the same way that I did with the ones with the books, but I separate out the clients now. So that's my justification for having all of these beautiful iPads and whatever they are. But that's an introduction to the tech that I use. I hope that's helpful. See you later.